Alright, let's dive into something that's both fascinating and surprisingly complex. What happens when a multi-currency wallet runs short? Sounds like a niche problem, right? But personally, I think this is where the future of global finance gets really interesting. Because behind every tap of a multi-currency card, whether you're in Tokyo, Dubai, or anywhere else, there's a whole universe of decisions happening in milliseconds. And what many people don't realize is that this isn't just about swapping currencies, it's about orchestrating a symphony of systems, rules, and logic that most of us never see. Here's the hook: imagine you're traveling abroad, and your card declines because your primary currency wallet is low. Frustrating, right? But what if the card could automatically dip into another wallet, convert just the shortfall, and complete the transaction seamlessly? That's the promise of multi-currency wallets. But here's the kicker: making that happen is way harder than it sounds. It's not just about having multiple balances, it's about the architecture behind it. And this is where companies like LuLu Exchange and platforms like Stitch come into play. From my perspective, the real challenge isn't just having multiple wallets, it's managing the logic between them. A conventional card checks one balance, a multi-currency card might juggle several, each with its own rules, fees, and limits. Now, multiply that by dozens of currencies, and you've got a puzzle that requires a whole new operating layer. What makes this really interesting is that most financial institutions already have the pieces: issuers, processors, FX providers, you name it. But the difficulty lies in stitching them together. Pun intended. Take LuLu Exchange, for example. They wanted to launch a multi-currency card in the UAE, but their previous attempts hit a wall. Why? Because every change, adding a currency, adjusting a fee, became a massive coordination project. Their processors, FX providers, and settlement systems were all separate, meaning every update required a new integration. Scaling wasn't just about handling more transactions, it was about managing the growing complexity of these handoffs. If you take a step back and think about it, this is a classic case of fragmented infrastructure holding back innovation. This raises a deeper question: why isn't there a single operating layer that can handle all this? Enter Stitch. What they did for LuLu Exchange was consolidate issuing, processing, FX, and reconciliation into one environment. A detail I find fascinating is their priority-based wallet dipping. Basically, if your Euro wallet runs short, the system automatically checks your next preferred wallet, converts only what's needed, and completes the transaction. No manual intervention, no declined payments. It's like the card is thinking ahead for you. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. This isn't just about convenience for customers. It's about control for financial institutions. With a unified layer, product teams can tweak currencies, fees, and rules without rebuilding the entire stack. In my opinion, this is the unsung hero of fintech, infrastructure that evolves with the product, not against it. Because let's be honest, customers don't care about the back end, they just want their card to work. But for banks and fintechs, this flexibility is everything. What this really suggests is that the future of multi-currency cards isn't just about adding more currencies, it's about making the architecture smarter. It's about reducing implementation time from 9 to 12 months to just 90 days, as Stitch claims. And it's about giving product teams the freedom to adapt to changing travel patterns, new corridors, and evolving customer behavior without treating every update like a tech overhaul. One thing that immediately stands out is how much of this infrastructure remains invisible to the end user. You tap your card, it works, end of story. But behind that tap is a whole world of decisions: which wallet to use, how much to convert, how to reconcile the transaction across systems. It's like the plumbing of global finance, you only notice it when it breaks. And that's why getting this right is so critical. So, here's my closing thought: multi-currency wallets aren't just a nice-to-have for travelers, they're a test of how well financial institutions can manage complexity. The ones that crack this, by building or partnering with the right operating layer, will be the ones leading the next wave of global payments. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the currencies, it's about the logic that connects them. And that, my friends, is where the real innovation lies.